everyone, Kelly Dean Allen here, and I'm coming at you with yet again more classic Aerosmith. What can I say? I happen to love Aerosmith and find great pleasure in learning, teaching, and playing their music, especially the older stuff. This track, Lightning Strikes, is simply one of the best and most kick-ass songs that Aerosmith ever wrote, with or without Joe Perry and Brad Whitford, as neither of them were on this album. Correction, Whitford played rhythm guitar on this track only and then left the band. Regardless, let's give Joe Perry sound like Jimmy Crespo some love today, yeah? And learn how to play Lightning Strikes from 1982's unfairly much maligned 7th album, Rock in a Hard Place. Let's close in. Good then, Lightning Strikes, Aerosmith with Jimmy Crespo and Brad Whitford before he stormed out of the studio not to return for a couple of years until 1985's Done with Mirrors. Anyway, just a fantastic track here, as good as nearly anything that the band released throughout the 70s, in my humble opinion. So then, we are in standard tuning for this one, and the track starts surprisingly with a bit of atmospheric synthesizers before the guitars kick in with an E power chord. And you're just going to let that ring for 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to go off to an A power chord for 2 bars, back to E for 2 more bars, and then back off to A again. Right? The first time you go off to A, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's that short little lead line there. 9th fret of the high E off to 7. Then you're going to grab the 7 of the B. Full step bend, release it off to 5. Back to 7 of the high E. And then back to 5. And after we go off to A the second time, the band kind of drops out. There's a little more, a couple of bars of synthesizer, and then they start building up to the first verse, right? Just an E power chord for 2 bars, down to A, slowly building. Building up to the first verse, right? And then we finally slam on an E power chord and choke it off for the first line of the first verse. However, the second or third time playing through that E to A, right, that little build up there, you can hear the main riff coming up in the mix, right? And you can hear it in the background, and it's starting to get a little louder. And so we're going to teach you the main riff at this point. Right, so that is the main riff. All double stop work here. So we're going to start with an E power chord, a little down, up, down. Then we're going to grab a double stop here on the 4s of the A and the D, move it up to 5, move it back to 4, and then move it back to 2. Each time bouncing off the open E, kind of a palm muted open E. And when you get back to the 2, you're going to go off to open 1, 2. Right, kind of like that. And then the second half of the riff is here on the D and the G string, a little down, up, down on the open D, open G, and then you're going to go 1, 2, hit that 2 twice, back off to open, and then you're going to go 1, 2, and then open 1, 2. Right, so that is the main riff. Right, and that's kind of building along with the E to A, right? And like I said, you repeat that 3 times. And then we drop into the first verse. Just slam on an E power chord. He sings the line, the boys and the Dukes are ready to rumble, right? And then we're into this. And then you choke that off again, second line of the first verse, right? So same chords you were using, 2nd fret, double stop. You're going to hit the open E first. You're going to hit that one, move it up to 4, move it up to 5. Back it up to 4, back it up to 2, right? Each time bouncing off the open E, palm muted open E. And then choke that E power chord off again. Repeat. Then you're going to go down to A for 2 bars. Just that little blues progression, right? Just bouncing off 4 of the D here in A. Up to G. Slam on a G chord 3 times. Slide that into A and then hit that 3 times. Right? You're going to slide it in and then hit it 3 times. And then we're into the main riff. Second verse. E power chord, choke it off. Second line, second verse. Down to A. Up to G. Slide it in. Main riff. And then we're into the bridge, which is just an A, 2 bars of A, little blues progression, right? That right there, just going on to the 4 of the D, then on to the 5, back off to the 4, right? Up to E. Same thing. Repeat 4 times. Final time, go to B. And then back into the main riff. Third verse. Same as all the other verses. Bridge again. Just A to E, right? And you repeat that again 4 times. The 4th time you drop into B again, right? And that leads into the solo. So let's have a look at that solo right now. Solo goes something like this. So we're shifting into C sharp for the solo, and we're going to be soloing here in the kind of the blues scale, pentatonic, right, at the 9th fret position, starting with this classic blues lick. I'm going to repeat that 4 times, holding a little bar here on the 9s of the B and the high E, bending the 11 of the G 4 times, right, little double hits on that double stop. And then you're just going to grab a double stop on the 11s, off to the 9s of the G and the B, and then grab the 11 of the D. And then you're just going to drop off to a double stop here on the 4th fret of the D and the G, and just hang in that for a bar or 2, right? And then we're back up here again. We're going to play that little lick right there. It's classic blues lick, bending that 11, just riding down the 9s, right? And then you're going to grab that 11 of the G again, give it a full step, kind of a slow full step bend release. Off to the 9, back to the 11 of the D, back to the 9. And at this point, he kind of dips his bar a little bit on that note before sliding it back to 7. And then moving that 7 back to 2. right? And then he's going to just slide into a double stop on the 9s of the D and the G. Move it back to 7, do it again. Right, and then we drop back into the main riff for the rest of the song. So that is the solo. And then we're back into the rest of the song with the main riff until fade out. And that is how you play Lightning Strikes by Aerosmith with Jimmy Crespo. Certainly hope you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, and if you did, please hit that like button right down there. Maybe drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be very kind. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, and we will see you next time. Cheers.